So I'm aware of my emotional and psychological issues. So why don't I change? So many of us actually, we studied so much, we read so much about psychology, about psychological issues, emotions. There are so many videos, free videos, and people that really gives us explanations, suggestions, and then we probably tried several times therapy with several different therapists, but we still feel that mm, that we haven't solved that problem that we feel that we have inside. We still feel that we are in pain, or that we keep having problems, relational problems, or we keep having problems with ourselves, and we judge ourselves, we criticize ourselves. Sometimes we punish ourselves. And this is incredibly discouraging. I had so many clients coming to me and saying, oh, okay, this is the last possibility. I have tried everything, and I have no hope. I'm just trying because my husband or my boyfriend or my mother really pushed me to do that, but I feel that there's nothing that I can do, but because there must be something wrong with me. And this actually, just to hear that, just to listen a person saying that, is really really painful. And but obviously, when a person, and we all know about that, because I'm a therapist, because I've decided to become a therapist, but we because I also suffered in my life, so we know that we started suffering when we were children, when we were little, and it's so difficult every day to fight against everything, against the world outside, but also everything that is inside, and not really understanding um, why we are suffering. I remember when I was an adolescent, I had always this question, and I was thinking, I have everything. I have a family, two good parents. I'm, uh, I'm studying. I play volleyball. I have friends. So why do I suffer? Why do I suffer? And then I was always, my this question was always in my mind, and as it was for me, it was also for many of my clients. They were not really understanding. They thought they were understanding, so they read a book, and they found out, oh, this is exactly me. This book is written for me. Or then they heard a guru online, and they was saying, oh, this is a recipe to feel better. You must do this. And then they were really trying to do everything, but then they were still feeling bad. So what we really know after all these attempts is that knowing is not really um is not really enough. It's not really enough to knowing what is happening inside of us. It's not really enough. And in fact, in my webinars, usually I say that knowing is just the starting point. Knowing, better understanding what is happening inside of us is the starting point. And maybe we spent years trying to understand what was happening inside of us. Maybe we were changing kind of languages, or maybe different theories. So we were using a kind of approach, and then we changed therapies, and maybe we found another kind of approach, and we were explaining different aspects of our problems. But we thought that we were feeling better, but then things were coming back, or we were feeling that life was stronger than us, then life was maybe putting us in that position that was so difficult to manage. And so we usually tend to think So nothing works. Nothing works with me. Even in therapy, when you are in therapy and you try, then you have a kind of relapse. It's not maybe it's not really a relapse, but it's a moment in which it seems to you that you are going back to what you were at the beginning of the therapy. And usually, what I say is that you are never going back. You're not never going back. You are always going forward, but you need probably more attempts, more trials to really find yourself at the moment at the right place, and start to have that insight, or that or start to feel that something is really changing deeply inside of you. In some moments of our life, things could be different. Maybe we spend years trying to understand, but then we find out that at a certain age we feel different from before. So there are different things that are important for us, and we start to feel that we are different. Sometimes we feel that we are feeling better, but actually we are using stronger defenses. So stronger defenses, starting from an idea that we actually cannot really solve our psychological or emotional problems, but we have to manage them. And in some therapies, the message that really implicit message is that we need to manage our psychological issues. And I've never really accepted that. And I know that it's a bit controversial sometimes, but in some situations, obviously, we have to manage things. But in the majority of situations, I saw that people can change, can really, at the right moment, in the right way, people can really change. So tonight we're going to try to better understand, using a different frame, why we don't change, and what the problems are. But really, I invite you to watch all the other live the video recorded live webinars, because you will really start to understand day by day what is happening moment by moment in your life, inside of yourself. And I always give also many different practices, many different techniques, or things that you can try to use during your regular life. And obviously, in our in the groups that we are going to start on Close by You, you will have the possibility to be guided in several experiential practices that can deeply change how the brain functions. So this is a very important aspect of what I'm going to tell you today, because experiential practices are the ones that are really going to change how your brain and your personality works. So when you feel that something is not changing, it's not that you are failing, but actually is your brain that is protecting you, is trying to the brain is always there, perceiving always threats in your life, is always trying to help you to manage those threatening situations. And obviously, the brain was shaped in a way to feel and to put in a position of anticipating possible traumas or possible threats in order to survive, because you probably had negative experiences in your life previously in your life, and so your brain is there to protect you. So it repeats when the same kind of patterns, the same kind of schemas, or kind of we could say same kind of the programs in your brain. So it's very easy that at a certain point, when you see that you are always that your brain is always thinking in a certain way, working in a certain way, it's very easy that you add a layer of problems, judging very badly yourself. So you can say, I'm wrong, my brain is broken, I'm sabotaging myself, I am my own enemy, and so on. But actually, as I was saying, once we go through, when we are little, we go through negative experiences, emotional and relational negative experiences. Our brain was shaped in a way to anticipate the future possible negative experiences, similar to what you already experienced. Why your brain has uh, to really scan the reality and find any possible signal of possible threats and anticipate possible dangers, because if your brain does that, then you can avoid these situations, you can protect yourself, you can do something different. So your brain is always there to make uh, yourself survive. So the final goal of the brain is survival. This is the important thing. So if you think about that, you're already starting to change the way you are really you're really relating to this way of living, and also of managing the reality and what you do in the reality. You are not failing, you actually are trying to survive. You're trying to survive to possible threats. And when we say possible threats, we have so many kind of different possible threats. It could be abandonment, it could be maybe someone that could make make fun of us. We could really try to avoid failure, we could try to avoid abuse, we could try to avoid, so we can perceive the world in many different ways, threatening ways, and we could try to find a way to protect ourselves from those dangers. So these things, as I was saying, are um, are like lenses in your brain, like that are really filtering the reality. And these lenses, these programs, or these schemas, as schema therapy call them, are there since you were very little. So, and also when you grew up, you learn how to manage those things and how to survive using different kind of coping strategies, behaviors. So in actually, when we think about our problems, we don't really, when we learn, we do different kind of therapies also, we we think, okay, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, why I'm not changing? And actually the thing is that there are two different kind of, at least two different kind of way of thinking. There's the thinking mind, that is the rational brain, and this part loves the analysis, the insight, the explanations, everything that is rational, cognitive is managed by this part. And this part is really starving for new knowledges. And this part is also the one that's saying, okay, give me more, because if you give me more, I will find a solution, I will find a way. And so this is always the way you try to attempt to do certain things. And then there's emotional brain, so the survival system. And actually, we know that these different systems of elaborating the informations are located in different areas of our brain. So we have the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, that it was really shown by the researchers that they have different kind of responsibilities in our inner life. And then we also have the different layers of our brain So the prefrontal cortex usually is the one that is more cognitive, more rational, and is trying to manage the activation of deeper areas of our brain. So the limbic system, the part that is you can imagine here, but inside of our brain. Um, a part that is also called the amygdala, and in which there are stored many different kind of memories. So these two systems work in a different way, and the emotional brain is the one that is perceiving the danger and feeling the shame and the abandonment, and it reacts even before we are able to become aware of why this something is happening. So it could be that this area of our brain is activated by a smell, a sound, a certain kind of light. So there, we could have a very different kind of stimulus that can activate this part of our brain. And this part of our brain, when is activated, because it's really a part of our brain that is really there to make us survive, is functioning very fast and really produce give the message to produce a lot of hormones that can go in the bloodstream and then make us feel flooded by very strong emotions immediately, even before we are able to understand what is really happening. Because if there's a danger, we need to really act immediately before reasoning. So this part, that this the thinking mind is lower than the emotional brain, that is much faster. And imagine that you're crossing a road, and a car is very fast and is approaching you very, very fast. Imagine to use the thinking mind and think, oh, that car is running fast, and pluck, you're dead. There's no time. The emotional brain doesn't work like that. The emotional brain is, I feel immediately fear, and boom, I jump on the side of the road, and so I protect myself.